Yes.
We're alive.
Good morning, Paula.
We're alive. We survived. We survived all the transits so far. We're alive. Hi, CV.
Hi, how are you?
I feel good. We have this transit today. Venus is rolling up on Uranus for a conjunction of surprises.
I feel it's been that way so far.
Regarding all things Venusian. And you think about Uranus and unexpectedness. I don't know if you have this tendency, but I kind of try and second guess it, which is like completely defeats the purpose of unexpectedness. Like the whole point of unexpectedness is that you didn't expect it, right?
Yeah.
So, to expect something unexpected to happen is kind of eroding the fun of it a little, don't you think?
Kind of. I think about it I feel like there's two routes you could go. And maybe this is, I don't know what part of this is me, my just anxiety in general. But you can either choose to be like on tiptoe. You're like, I know something's going to happen, but I don't know what. And that's terrifying. Or you can choose to be like, this is wonderful. Something unexpected is going to happen. And you don't know what. I don't know.
Well, in preparing, which is not my forte, in preparing for our discussion today, I thought about some really truly Uranian things that happened. And the reason I'm wearing a blue hat, I don't know if I've already discussed with you in the past my superstition, which I think I invented, which is to draw things out of the blue by either looking at the blue wall. Did I talk about that when I was in Jenny's house that has blue walls, like that I look at when I want something?
No. Tell me about this from the very beginning, because I'm fascinated.
Okay. I'm fond of the expression of which very much pertains to Uranus and a Uranian transit of things coming out of the blue.
Yeah.
I love the songs by Roxy Music and Electric Light Orchestra. And I'm just kind of, I guess, and this is like another aside to that, what we're attracted to, which is the Venus piece. I like Uranus transits because I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to come out of the blue. I'm optimistic. So is that because of Jupiter? Uranus is like in an out of element sextile with my sun moon conjunction in my chart. But I'm always like, oh, good, something's coming out of the blue. And, I can certainly attest that not everything that came out of the blue in my lifetime has been any cause for celebration, but I tend to focus on the good things. And so I invented this superstition, at least I think I invented it, because I haven't really ever heard of it otherwise.
Yeah.
But it's maybe not such a superstition. Well, it's kind of superstitious, but it's a practice that I do very casually of when I feel like I'm needing something to come out of the blue to offer a solution.
Okay.
Or particularly a solution, I think, or just, a thrill.
Okay.
I start looking at, I have some blue walls in my life. Not here, but I have some blue walls, and we all have the the blue wall up above the sky. Yeah. So and that's obviously the origin of the expression is like something's coming from the sky.
Which is funny because I was thinking the water.
Oh,
my brain just
Mercury Pisces. Water. I got Mercury in Gemini. I'm looking up.
I'm looking down.
There you go. I mean, everything's up for interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, you're looking at the blue sky. I'm looking at the blue waters.
Mainly, more often, I'm looking at the blue walls. I spend a lot of time in two homes that have very blue walls. You've seen at least one of them in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm searching for a solution or an injection of merriment, I'm looking I'm looking at the blue wall, but I don't have the blue walls. So today we're not quite at the Mercury, or are we? No, we're not quite at the Mercury Uranus conjunction in Taurus, not quite yet, but it's in there. I mean, it's really already happening, you know, in a not even a loose orb. It's there. But Venus is the one today. So I'm wearing this blue hat so that my Mercury antennae can pull in the good news, the unexpected good news that I'm hoping for. And in preparation, not my forte, for this discussion, I thought about two very Uranian incidents in the past few years. That something just really came out of the blue. One of them, I just like ran into a gentleman I hadn't seen in 20 years. I didn't even know if he remembered me. And he came bursting into Frankel's bagel shop in Greenpoint, like Kramer out of Seinfeld, and was like, and I was like, oh, this is Parker. And I said, Parker, do you remember me? And he said, yes, I've been thinking about you. Do you want a baritone sax? That's my instrument.
Yeah.
I said, well, sure, you know. And his dad, who was a sax player, had passed away, and he gave me his dad's baritone sax. So I mean, but you know, he's a very active and successful musician in New York City. He could have given it to anybody, really. I don't even know. Like, it was like, I don't even know why he was thinking about me, like when we hadn't seen each other. But it was like, I was like, this is like so Uranian. And then the other thing was, you know, a few years back in March of 2016, I had an unexpected cancellation of a tour. So I guess that could be a Uranian bad thing. But I just was like in this predicament of like, what am I going to do now? And then I got an email from a stranger saying he was looking for musicians, and I ended up doing a world tour that year that like lasted the whole year, and it was just so kind of out of left field. So I just checked the ephemeris this morning, and on that occasion Uranus and Mercury were in Pisces at 6 and 9 of Pisces respectively, so within 3 degrees, which is pretty close to what it is now. I don't know, you have the chart, right? And
we also, pull it up. We just, this is a good introduction. Let's just talk the chart. Okay, share screen. Okay. The
saxophone, they were in a sextile. Okay, Uranus and Venus were in a sextile.
Can we? I want to make sure we're not like sharing my hold on.
Your secrets.
Well, you don't want to look at my Photoshop.
Don't share your secrets.
Can I?
Live stream.
What is this? I'm like, what is that? Share screen.
I don't know.
Cancel.
I mean,
you're
a step ahead of me with this technology. I see we don't have
application window. Thank you. Sorry. I just wanted to open the application window.
Okay.
This is my moment there.
Oh, there we are. There's our starry sky.
Oh, cool. Oh, and actually I think I could make this smaller because I think that I can. Oh, I love Live Studio because I can look at it with you.
And we can still see each other.
Yeah. Okay. So you said during this story, when you like unexpectedly got asked to go on a world tour, you said,
let's focus on that one because that's what I remember more. And it was more, it was like Mercury was at 6 of Pisces and Uranus was at 9 of Pisces. So this was in 2016. And okay. What have we got today?
Oh, I just want to know before what house is Pisces in for you?
3rd house, road trips.
Love it. Okay, that makes sense. Music and all things.
Yeah,
okay.
I got back on the road, you know, like, and it came out of the blue, and I don't think I had even invented my superstition yet. Then it's kind of a new one.
Okay, so figure I'm on the way to New Jersey. You're in New York. I set the chart for New York.
Great.
Somebody was watching us. It's so funny. Okay, so yeah. Look at this. So Venus, not quite there.
But very close, 9 and 10. I mean, I think,
so
you know, as far as I'm concerned, we
Oh, I
can
can't.
say that these conjunctions are happening.
I
We
know.
can say that Venus is already conjunct Uranus, and that Mercury is certainly conjunct Venus, and the two of them, it's happening. You know, we're talking about an orb of 2 degrees here, or not even, right? Or
They're
is,
hanging
or,
out.
sorry, I can't see. Is Mercury at 6?
Mercury's at 6, so it's like
Okay.
10, 9, 6, but
Okay. Okay. So sorry, I thought that was 8, but okay, so Venus for sure. Anyway, unexpected, unexpected loveliness.
you know, it's funny because like my big Uranus experience since becoming an astrologer happened around when Uranus was going over. So I have in my chart Venus and Taurus making in opposition, like within 1 degree from Saturn, which is a pretty
Right.
like heavy piece of my chart.
Yes,
And
that's
so
that's an ongoing
conversation.
yes, that yeah, for life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when Uranus went over that part of my chart, it was wild. And like it was interesting. It wasn't all bad, but it was just like crazy, like I don't know, like at one point in this when it was I remember, I don't want to like give details, but at one part of this transit, I was like in Mexico being like, dragged out of a car momentarily.
Oh,
It was like, oh, look at Uranus on top of my Venus.
I like the momentarily part of that.
Yeah, God bless. I'm okay. But I remember being like, fuck. And then looking at the chart and being like, oh yeah. So
Okay, so looking at the chart, so Uranus at that time was in what relationship to your Venus Saturn opposition?
it was literally, so it was when Uranus was in Taurus. So it was in like earlier, what, that was like 2018, I think, when
Okay.
I mean, and there's some career stuff too that happened because it was stayed that at that part of the chart for a while. But yeah, so it was literally Uranus was making the conjunction to my Venus and then opposing my Saturn. So it
Right.
wasn't just a straight up Venus thing. It was like Venus speaking to like the depths of my Scorpio.
Right.
So I'm hoping so I'm just like, oh, I hope like Venus. I mean, sorry, yeah, just like Uranus, Venus, Mercury is a little like less traumatic.
Absolutely. I'm going to divulge something that could have been considered unpleasant that happened, except that fortunately I can see the funny side, but
Yeah, yeah.
we had a full moon on Halloween last year. I guess that was a full moon in Taurus, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the full moon conjunct Uranus in Taurus.
I remember exactly where I was. Wait, that was when that was
Halloween
wait,
2020.
okay, okay.
That was the pandemic Halloween,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
No Halloween gig that year. And I, probably no tricking or treating for those who do that. But anyway, it came and went. Like I think it was like on a Saturday and nothing happened. And I was really like voraciously following every astrological forecast all day in those days, more than I have had time to do before or since. But
Yeah.
everyone was like, watch out for the full moon conjunct Uranus.
Yeah.
And so it came Saturday. It didn't, I can't even really remember what I did on that Halloween, but I was in the house with blue walls, one of the houses with blue walls, watching my friend's cat. And I was lying on the couch the next day thinking, well, that came and went and nothing happened. And I picked up my laptop and I was sort of lying on my couch with my knees, in that shape,
Yeah.
mountain shape. And I kind of put my laptop there and it fell and like hit me here gently
Yeah.
and gently knocked out my 4 bottom teeth. I mean, they were kind of tenuously hanging in there, I will admit, but so it wasn't even like 100% unexpected, but it was just kind of so drastic and dramatic. And then, fortunately, it was shocking. And that's what, and that is
Yeah.
really shocking, is what Uranus can be. Even though I expected it with my teeth, or, I knew I had to go to the dentist and have my teeth, attended to.
Yeah.
It was shocking, but I was like, well, it couldn't have happened at a better time. I'm in a mask. I don't have any gigs. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anyone
Yeah.
anywhere to see. So, then I navigated several visits to the dentist during COVID, and in New York. But anyway, that was a Uranus thing too that happened, and so I had to, and there I was, thinking I got through the transit. And I think, shockingness
Yeah.
is something that is definitely the dominion of Uranus. And shockingness is not always surprising, right?
Mhm.
If someone if a heroin addict dies of it, sorry, I don't know why I'm being so Plutonian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Neptunian, Plutonian, I don't know what's going on over here, but if a heroin addict overdoses and dies, it's shocking, but you maybe not that surprising, right?
Yeah.
For example, for a macabre example. But I think there are a lot of things in life that come as a shock, but you could even say, and I don't know why I'm thinking about death. What your teeth falling out, if they were like, yeah, so shockingness doesn't always accompany something entirely unexpected, is what I'm saying.
It makes me think of like Uranian moments as like, in hindsight, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like things were leading up to it, right? It's almost as if it takes it to the edge. Like you think you're skirting around doing something. Like I think in my case of like, being in a situation that wasn't necessarily good. Like if I thought far enough, I'm like, getting dragged out of a car, like that could have been an outcome I could have thought to if I followed the logic, or like getting your teeth
Right.
knocked out could have been like something you could follow through with. But it's like the thing that we're just like not thinking of, like we're not going to take it there.
Right.
And Uranus is just like, take it there. It's
Right.
time.
Like had you locked the door of the car, right? Had I gone to the dentist before the full moon?
Yeah, like
And what did I start out was by saying preparation is not my forte.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's
CV,
like
I'm optimistic, and I'm hoping for wonderful surprises for us during these Uranus transits coming up. We have this, Venus is right there, Mercury is any day, and then the Sun will hit it up. And so, in that regard, and you do have Venus in Taurus. I don't have any planets in Taurus, but
Mhm.
it's my fifth house. Oh no, what am I? No, it is my fifth house, but I don't have any planets there. And so for each lunation, I make a couple of zodiac soundtracks and throw them out into the World Wide Web, and hopefully anyone finds them and enjoys them. But I think that, when I think of this Uranus twist on our Taurus season this month, I'm calling it Taurus with a twist. Because another thing about Taurus, Taurus is ordinarily about everything that is not unpredictable, right? It's like,
Mhm.
it's, what's reliable? What can you rely on? And so having the Uranus in the mix this year is really, I guess it was already in the mix last year for Taurus. And how long has it been in Taurus?
It's been since I think in like 2017 it dipped in there, maybe late,
Okay.
no, early 20.
Yeah, these things go
It
for a long
it dipped and then it's been there since 2018. But I have a question for you, right? So on this whole thing, because like this year the theme we've had like because ever since everything moved into Aquarius, this whole Saturn Jupiter, they've been making squares to like Uranus. There's a Saturn Uranus square that look at Saturn just past Uranus, kind of separating now, but that whole conversation is very much alive all of 2021. And
Yes,
so like
because Saturn will retrograde back over it.
exactly. But I guess my question to you is that like, what houses are those happening for in your chart? Because like for me, it's interesting because I think like the way I look at astrology for myself, it's completely different than other people because I get like totally anxious. Like it's been happening in my 11th, my 10th, my 10th and my 7th house. And just like when something happens, I'm like, oh, like, can it not be? I'm like, I don't want to fight with my boyfriend, have something with work. Like my head just goes like that. So where's it happening for you? When do you get the anxiety?
Okay, so I have Saturn in the second.
Okay.
So like natal Saturn. So the Uranus square is my second. And you know, like I said, I'm optimistic. Oh, maybe I'll get some unexpected money. Like,
I love your optimism.
I mean, I can't help it. Like it must be something about my Jupiter, but like, so yeah, I'm not thinking maybe I'll unexpectedly lose what money I have. I'm thinking maybe I'll get some. And so yeah, the Uranus square to Uranus is squaring my natal Saturn. And of course, Saturn is rolling up on my natal Saturn. So I'm just like starting to really research second Saturn returns. And I'm also optimistic about that because even though my first Saturn return, as we have discussed before, when talking about Saturn, was like a time of great upheaval and also great unexpectedness. And I don't have an ephemeris at my fingertips, but I wonder what was going on with Saturn and Uranus in relation to each other around 1992, 1991, 92, 93, like that's because certainly what I attributed to my Saturn return was a whole lot of unexpectedness, and which was indeed shocking. It sent ripples of shock waves not only through me but to everyone around me.
Yeah.
And but my feeling about it really is that it was just exciting, and like it was so thrilling, and the change that happened, I didn't see coming, and it was just like it was kind of catastrophic but and upsetting, but it was also like absolutely thrilling for me. I just like basically picked up and moved to New York and like left my whole life behind. And so I'm like, wow, what's going to happen on this Saturn return? And what I'm thinking is that perhaps it won't be as drastic, but the Uranus square will still be kind of loosely there by the time it happens. So once again, I'm expecting the unexpected.
Just if you're curious, so when Saturn was in the late degrees of Aquarius, there was a Neptune Uranus conjunction
back in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm absolutely curious. I have to get myself. When I moved several years ago, I sold all my astrology books.
Yeah.
And now I find myself annoyingly wanting to rebuy them all and all the other ones as well. But like, so I'm on the lookout for an astrology library, but I don't have an ephemeris. So I look on the phone, or I look on my laptop. But it's something more juicy and satisfying and Taurian about picking up a physical book and turning the pages and looking it up. So I think I'll go get an ephemeris ASAP so that I can just look that up, because I'm considerably more analytical now than I was 20 years ago about these things.
Going back to the second Saturn return, you have Saturn in the second house.
Yes.
And it involved a move. Did it involve like a drastic change in how maybe you earned your income, or like
on my first Saturn return, or
yeah, like second house issues coming? And it would be interesting. Do you think that somehow correlates with your switch now from music to astrology?
Hey, I didn't switch from music to astrology.
Well, not switch, but I feel like you've been putting not switch, but you've been putting a lot more energy into astrology, maybe perhaps.
I have. I've been investing.
Sorry, I apologize.
I've been investing my time and money in astrology during the forced international pause of my music livelihood.
Yeah.
But I haven't quit music
Oh, yes. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like imply that.
Yeah. That's all right. But you
Just
know,
thinking
I
about
think
Saturn
that
return story.
I think that the two can hopefully coexist in the third act, as they call it. I think this is, you know, I think I'll have you know, harmoniously cohabiting income streams, hopefully. Um, anyway, but yeah, I not really, not really. It was more a love thing, you know. It was more like because and you know, because I left my boyfriend and married a stranger, basically,
Yeah. We
and
and
so
became an
that
outsider with that Saturn in Aquarius.
yes, and exactly, and then you know, I was living in New York without a green card, so I had to really like learn how to hustle, which, you know, you have to learn how to hustle whether you have a green card or not if you're living in New York, I think. But you know, it was back then, you know, it was like a cash economy, so I learned how to hustle, you know. I learned about working for tips. I learned about working for tips with no pay, like in restaurants, you know, like I was checking coats and I got paid nothing by the restaurant. So I was like in completely living on tips there for a little while. And then, you know, and then um but no, I wouldn't think so. Um I still that wasn't the big change in my income stream. That came later. When I that came later when I was like, I'm gonna just be a musician or die trying, you know, like I'm gonna get paid to play music or die trying. So that was that's kind of like I feel
When did
uh,
that happen, may I ask? Was that was
I
that relation to that Saturn at all?
no, it was Uranus actually. I gave up my day job at the end of my Uranus opposition.
Okay.
And you know, I've just been basically living on miracles out of the blue ever since.
And
Or
thus
not, you know.
you're learning to work with the color blue.
Um, maybe so. And you know, I think a little off topic, but I
Yeah.
think I'm very interested to continue um, the train of thought that Samuel Reynolds introduced to us at ASC, the Astrology Students Conference, which we both attended on the weekend, which was fantastic. And he was talking about the bending of the nodes, and he spoke about sacrifice on along the nodal axis. If I understand it right, I want to actually rewatch his lecture and hopefully be able to take some lessons with him or get a reading from him because I'm kind of interested in that. Like I feel like I'm quitting my day job and I'm just like throwing this all to the wind. I was a conscious decision, you know, to sacrifice material security in chasing this calling to be a touring musician and, you know, a professional musician.
Right
So
on.
I have sacrificed a lot in order to enjoy that calling. And I'm interested what he has to say regarding the bending of the nodes. That's
Well, do
like
you know when that transit was happening? I'm not looking at your chart. Was it was it at the bendings? Was it in any relationship to that? Do you have Uranus? Like, do you have any planets at the bendings of the nodes?
I didn't think I did looking at it the way that I understood it from watching his lecture about it. I didn't have any planets there. And I need to watch that again because it was kind of mathematically.
Well,
Uh,
it's not that hard. I mean, do you want to look at your chart, or I can?
why don't I just tell you? I have South Node at 12 Capricorn and North Node at 12 Cancer.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm just gonna pull your chart up and look at this. I won't bring it on the screen, but I'll look it up.
I don't care.
Let me just find it real quick. I can tell you right now, Paula.
My privacy is already.
By the way, that was my second time seeing that lecture, and Paul, I don't know if you're. I don't know if you're.
I mean,
Paul,
we
what's
only
your?
have 7. I don't know if I gave you my chart, but we only have like 6 minutes left because you have 11:45 stop. So
Oh yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Thank you. We can look at that though. When we're done, send me your information because apparently
okay,
your birth time is not on my chart.
okay.
Let me open Chrome.
No, I don't think I gave you my chart yet, and vice versa. So let's
Oh, we just
we
talked
definitely,
about it. Okay.
yeah, because
Okay.
CV, we have discussed, and I'm looking forward to reading each other's charts.
Yes. Okay, that's
Yes.
so funny
So,
because we've talked about charts so much that I just assumed like I could like I was in
no,
my
I know.
head.
I can picture certain parts of your chart as well. I know about your Venus in Saturn
Mhm.
opposition, and your Venus in Taurus, and Mercury in Pisces, and Sun in Aries in the first degree. So I kind of know your chart without having even
Yeah.
looked at it. But which is, kind of an amazing um mental breakthrough when
Yeah.
you can just like picture somebody's chart like that from things I've said. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's another thing about the bending of the nodes. It's something I'm interested in finding out because of what Sam was saying about sacrifice. What are you looking at? Do you have people chatting in there?
Yeah, someone said, "Holy moly, that wig is so good. Where can I get it?" Like, you mean that
Oh,
hat? I think it's from Twitch, which is funny because
I'm
I
not
don't know
wearing a
much
wig
about it.
today. This is my
I
real
know.
hair.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's
I
a
was
hat, it's
wearing
not
a
a
wig
wig.
last time. I
I'm
do
so
like wig
bad. I can
wigs.
never told. I'm like, is that a troll or a real person? They just meant hat. So
Maybe they're complimenting your awesome natural hair, which is almost too good to be true.
yeah, thanks.
How's
Um,
that? How's that for Venus? How's that for a Uranus Venus comment?
thank you. Um, I'm always stressing about my hair. It's because I'm a Leo rising. I'm always scared. I'm like, am I gonna lose my hair? Like,
No,
anyway,
your
there's a
hair
very
is.
strong sun in my chart. Um, this is me. Just when it comes to other people, I'm not as paranoid. So don't worry. When we read, I won't be as neurotic as I am with my own chart.
It's okay. I like.
So
Um,
I'm gonna recap, like, if like for people who are listening,
good.
we started out with, okay, so we're like Uranus, Venus plus Mercury in the mix. Like, there, just within general with Uranus, there's like a couple different ways to go. So I started out with, well, there's the anything can happen, can I hide approach. There's the wow, like anything can happen, that's exciting approach. And then
It's
there's the
nice.
one the one that you added, which I really like, is like, wow, anything can happen, so I'm going to invite something good to happen. I feel like that's such a
Well, that's a more positive twist on what I said. But yeah, that
well,
is,
you're wearing your blue. You're inviting. I thought you were kind of inviting.
I am. I think what I said, especially though, was like, if you're trying to guess what the unexpected thing is that's going to happen, then
Yeah.
then it's not going to be unexpected, right? Like that, like it's hard for me to, it's like a kid who is lucky enough to get Christmas presents or Hanukkah presents or the Easter bunny, and you're going to get a present or a birthday present, let's say a
Yeah.
solar return gift, and you're going to get a present, and you're trying to guess what it is. And I remember like being little and going like sneaking around the house, like where my parents have hidden the presents, instead of just
Oh.
waiting and seeing what the present is. Like I don't know if it's nice to try and like outsmart the unexpectedness.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, it's not even. It just doesn't work. Right. It's like,
Yeah.
how like it reminds me of how like you're like paranoid about something. You spend so much energy getting really like scared it's going to happen, and then out of nowhere, out of the blue, something else bad happens, but you would have never expected it. So you essentially just wasted all of that having anxiety when this thing that actually went wrong was something you would have never thought about. That's a negative, but I think an example that happens with me a lot.
Wasted that negative anxiety that you could have been using for something. You could have been
Yeah.
saving it for something real good, or like, I don't know. That's a talk for another day, like how to use your anxiety auspiciously,
I love.
advantageously. Advantageously. You know, I've haven't finished watching I haven't finished watching all of the videos from the conference we attended.
Mhm.
And some of them I started and didn't finish and want to get back to. But I think that, I think that both of us, like, I think I'm Gemini moons, like these, like, you like accidental zodiac as a title for something, or out of
Yeah.
the zodiac, I have zodiac soundtracks. But I think that, is there such a thing? Has anyone already coined advantageous astrology? Is that a thing? Because I kind of like that.
Probably. I
Probably.
imagine it's like a super like self-help like life coach who's all about like using the stars for like big moon money. Like I feel like it's a
Well,
lot of manifesting.
a friend of mine said to me in passing recently, she said, I'm not really into astrology. I don't think it helps, was her
Yeah.
expression. And, I just let it slide. And, it's someone I had given a reading to, and I'm like thinking, but I let it slide, but it didn't really slide in my mind. I thought about it a lot, and I was like, help what? Like, doesn't help you? It's helping
Yeah.
me. Like, you don't think it helps the world? I think it helps the world, or it can, And so I started thinking about the idea of advantageous astrology, but and and then back to the conference, Richard Tarnas's discussion about humans just trying to engage with the cosmos in this way from a positionality of being bigger than it, and
Yeah.
how can we exploit it to our advantage? And of course, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, he kept on saying over and over, going back to that speech, which is something to leave on. We can wrap it up and take it back to Uranus, that astrology is a gift. These insights are a gift. We should be so thankful for them. And so I think that's perhaps something to remember if we're, I mean, I tend to like, astrology is powerful because, these transits can sometimes mark to really significant upheavals in people's lives that aren't always pleasant. But if you can try to remember that astrology is a gift, that I feel like it's a good perspective to take.
I like the perspective too, and I love a framework
Yeah.
of the framework. So have we got any time for any closing? No, we don't. But it's so I wish you well with your Taurus season with a twist.
Thanks. Well, I'm sure I'll like probably talk to you later today, maybe see you this weekend, and we'll chat soon. So
Yes, looking forward to it. And thank you as always, CV, for taking the initiative to set up these talks.
I love it. I know I'm kind of bummed. I was
it.
trying to get Casey to come with us, but she's at work today. So
Well, hopefully the three of us will soon write again, because that is always fun.
I know.
Thinking back to our John Travolta
Storytelling.
escapade
I know.
of New Year's Eve.
We need to do some more of that.
Yeah,
But
that's okay.
your
Well,
outfit's fabulous. I want to end with that. That's what I want my closing statement to you to be. How much I love your outfit.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And if anyone is still here, I'm giving away a free chart chat every Thursday. I call it Jupiter Day giveaway. So go follow along at Zodiac Soundtracks on Instagram. Sign up for the mailing list at zodiacsoundtracks.com, and you will receive some music based on my interpretation of what is going on in the heavens right now each month, and be in the running for a chart chat, which is basically like this, except it's going to be all about the receiver of the chart chat.
I love it. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to sit and read with you. But have a beautiful day, Paul. I have to pop off.
Have a beautiful day yourself. Safe travels.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
pleasant surprises.